Ho, ho, ho! You know, Christmas is, what, 2 months away? Less than 2 months? 2026 is just over 2 months away. And what does the future look like for Canada? This is Santa saying Canada is completely screwed. I could have used another word, more stronger, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit level. So, why is Canada screwed, and how does 2026... Oh, hello, Snoopy. That's my cat. You know, I still have a cat. You know what kind of year we've had? We've seen prices go sky high to the point where poor Santa's lost a ton of weight. They can't afford the food. And what about my little elves running around hiding from ice? Because you know, ice is everywhere. And ice doesn't like, what, I don't know. I'm not knowing why I'm saying that. Canada is screwed. And you know, we've seen this Doug Ford character. What the hell was he all about? You know what he saw? He saw that Carney is weak with the U.S. He didn't deliver on his election promises. So I bet you that what happened is Ford thought to himself, oh, I'm going to nail Trump. I'm going to give him a real big whack. And then what happens? Well, Trump doesn't fold. You don't punch him. You don't punch above your weight. Canada has nothing that the U.S. can't live without. There's just nothing. Whatever Canada has, the U.S. can get elsewhere. But look at us. We are stuck between the United States of America below and the Arctic above. Oh! And then we've got a couple of oceans on the side, so we're kept out of Asia and kept out of Europe. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to form new alliances, not with the closest one below us, that is the world's largest economy, power beyond belief, militarily, economically, in every way, politically. Politically, I mean, look at right now, you got the U.S. under Trump punching out speedboats in the Caribbean and the Pacific. What is the United Nations saying about the... Oh, it's all quiet on the Western Front. Because you're not going to criticize Trump because, well, he'll slap another tariff on you. That is the world we live in.
Crop, or is this a new one?
No, this was over the course of the weekend because at the bottom he announces a 10% tariff.
Okay, Canada was caught red-handed putting up fraudulent advertisement on Ronald Reagan's speech on tariffs. And Reagan Foundation said that they created an ad campaign using selective audio and video. President Ronald Reagan ad misrepresents the presidential radio address and did not seek.
That is something that Canadians had better fucking wake up to and realize that we can't punch above our weight. You know, we're not going to push the U.S. around. We're not going to scare it into submission. And, you know, like I said, Doug Ford, he figured that he had a way to punch out Carney, good old Marky Mark, and then maybe elevate him to the top of the next cycle for Prime Minister in the next election. Look at me, I beat up Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what I did. Boy, he got a lesson now, eh? His career could very well be done. And the latest I heard today is that Trump says, I'm not ready to meet with Carney. Not yet, whenever. You know, understand this, Canada. We need the U.S. more than they need us. If they want to collapse Canada's economy, they can do it very easily. And what are we gonna do about it? Run to England? Oh, because they're so strong economically and everything is going good there? Or to France or to Germany? Where are we going, people? Think about it. And Asia? You think Carney's trip to Asia impressed Asia, that they're not aware that Canada is bleeding economically and needs deals? Canada needs deals, so they're not giving us one. What the hell is with that? And if you get anything out of Asia right now, it'll be crumbs and it'll be at a high cost. You know, in Canada, we got some great podcasters. We got a moose that is loose somewhere. We got a opinionated female. And we got other ones, you know, the pleb and stuff. There's lots of great people giving opinions, but they have to be very measured because they can be demonetized so easily and they need it for their income. And as such, you know, there's many things they'd probably like to say, be more openable, but they can't. So how does that equate into freedom of speech, freedom of media and the press? And this always baffles me when they talk about freedom of press, except Russia, RT, no. We're not going to have Russian freedoms here because, you know, they say lies and our population that watches it, well, they're susceptible to believing that stuff. They might think that we start wars or that we're colonizing or, you know, some kind of Canada is screwed. Understand that. It doesn't, you know, it's not going to change if it's liberal or conservative. Our whole system has to change, and Canadians' mindset has to change and understand where we are. We're between the United States and the Arctic, and we have two fucking big oceans on our side. They're bringing the world to World War III, and, you know, no one's saying anything in the media because they don't dare. How are they bringing us to World War III? Do you think for a minute that if long-range Tomahawk missiles are given to Ukraine, first of all, it's been said the Ukrainians won't know how to operate it, so it'll have to be some foreign forces. But if they give those missiles to Ukraine and Ukraine starts shooting them in, maybe with foreign assistance, you think Russia's just going to take that? Do you think it ever gets to the point when Russia says enough is enough? And you know, it doesn't have to be a major nuke. They get the little ones, you know, they can just hit a certain area to point, you know, give a point. But what would that do? Would that set off like the domino effect of, you know, another country? You don't push a major nuclear power into a position of no win. You don't try to throttle it because it will fight back. Just like the United States would, you know. I hear people in Canada, freedom, Ukraine, yeah, Ukraine, yeah, you show Russia, you become part of NATO. Yeah, well, what would you say if the shoe was reversed and Mexico says it's tired of U.S. interference in its economy and sanctions and stuff like that and decide to do more deals with China and allow China to open up bases in Mexico? Do you think that would be tolerated? Or for that matter, Canada? What if Canada was reaching out militarily to another alliance? You think the U.S. would allow that? You know, fucking grow up, people. Look at the world in a whole sphere. There's so many things at play. So, you know, Asia doesn't need Canada. Canada needs partners, you know, people to deal with. People that'll buy Canadian goods, which is predominantly resources, lumber, minerals, oil, gas, resources. We're not a manufacturing hub. So what we need to do is sell our resources and import goods, which is what we've been doing for so many years. We haven't learned that what we should do is develop more, become more self-sufficient. I said that in my old channel years and decade ago, that Canada needs to become self-sufficient. The minute they started sanctioning Russia and going after Russia, shutting everything down, that should have been the writing on the wall for every other country. Every other country. You know, you could be in the crosshairs next. But we paid no attention. Why the hell would we? We're Canada. What could go wrong? And then we got on the bandwagon. Beat on Russia. We got this Ukrainian war hero in our parliament getting a standing ovation because he fought Russia during World War II. And then it turns out, you know why he fought Russia in World War II? Because he was a Nazi. So Canadian government and both parties, so stupid, give a standing ovation to a Nazi? I mean, think about it. Those are the people in charge of our country. Right now, Canada is going to face an economic crisis, and don't you dare blame Donald Trump or the US for it. We are the instruments of our own decline. We've been doing it for more than 10 years. And when the last election came, people saw Mark Carney. Oh, he's going to save us. Oh, yeah, he's going to stand up to Trump. And then they saw Pierre Poilievre as the alternative. Oh, no, he's too conservative. Mark Carney was elected. Now, don't fucking blame Santa for that. I didn't vote. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for anyone because it's the system that's broken.